Hi guys, so I'm going to read Supreme number 41. So right now I'm going to put this comic in the other independent comics playlist, but this will probably change in the future because I'll probably read more Image comics, so that'll be in an Image comics playlist when I read 5 of them. And also it could even be in its own playlist um, in a Supreme Comics playlist, but it depends how popular this comic get these comic readings of Supreme get. It depends how popular, how many likes they get, if I'll continue it. But yeah, so this comic is basically like it's a homage to the Silver Age Superman. That's kind of what it is. Apparently, I was reading about it online. Apparently, like the first 41 issues, like 40 other issues, they're not very good or something. But this is when Alan Moore starts writing it, and apparently it gets really good from this issue on. So, but I haven't read those issues though, so I can't really say. That's only what I've heard. Apparently, I've heard the other ones are not before this are not very good. But Alan Moore, Supreme, complete in this issue. See the man of majesty confronted by the land of 1,000 supremes. A great three-part novel. And there's a second cover, and it's published by a secondary publisher. It's called Maximum Press. So I'm not sure what the situation there was, but I'm not sure which cover I prefer, honestly. I think I might. This one's more detailed. I think I like this one better. But at last, the comic you dreamed about is here. The Supreme Story of the Year. Proudly presented by Alan Moore, writer. Joe Bennett, penciler. Norm Rapmond, inker. Flashback sequence by Keith Giffen, penciler. Al Gordon, inker. Ruben Rude, colorist. IHOC, color separator. Todd Klein, editor. Brent Braun, editorial assistant. Eric Stevenson, editor. Supreme created by Rob Liefeld. In memoriam to Curt Swan, who has lived from 1920 to 1996. By the great indifferent galaxies! What's happening? My world looks like a double exposed photograph. Have I returned to the real planet Earth after all this time, only to find it split in two? Supreme, beginning a great three-part novel. See the man of majesty face the central mystery of his existence in Part 1, The Double Exposure Doom. Back from adventures involving a false Earth and a host of counterfeit Supremes, the Ivory Icon faces a fresh puzzle. Is this another imitation of my homeworld? It seems I've no other choice save to investigate. I'd hoped that here at least I'd find stability, and somewhere I could straighten out my life. What with my memory gaps and those alternate Supremes, my whole identity seems confused and insubstantial. Now my world's become as undecided as myself. My microsite reveals the very water molecules within these clouds are fluctuating between states. Microsite. How long have I had microsite? I can't remember. So much of my history is a complete and perfect blank. I don't know if I'm one thing or the other. Just like that eastern seaboard that I see beneath me. But, as the gilded Goliath circles into land, merciful maker of the stars! The entire city shifts and flickers between different versions of itself. The population are like shimmering statues, trapped twixt who they are and who they might have been. Can it be that I am mad? And this a sick projection of my own internal lack of resolution? Maybe Loki's mind gains extend further than I'd imagined.
Maybe he's doomed me into an endless succession of false Earths, eternally searching for the real one, eternally alone.
Jeepers H. Christmas! Look down there, suckers! That's gotta be the new main man.
The text display on my hypervisor says she's right, gang. Besides, he's got that Born Yesterday look. It has to be him. Let's go down and check him out.
What in the name of the Big Bang?
Shoot! Look at the size of that mother freaker. We're nobody with muscles like that in our day.
He looks like a 90s model. His powers may be so poorly defined as to be virtually limitless. Treat him with caution. And then maybe we'll be able to get him back to the Supremacy before the flickering subsides.
Right on, brother. I pity the fool, if he's still in this hood when the revision goes down.
Careful, youngsters. This big palooka looks like one tough customer. He may not even be vulnerable to Supremium. You bet I'm a tough customer. Especially since you duplicate Supremes are a sure sign that I'm on another of Loki's alternate Earths.
Huh? Wait a minute. You don't understand. Fighting us won't do you any good.
Oh no? I think I'll be the judge of that. Holy Hercules! He KO'd Superion!
The corn shuckers sure did. Not only that, but our shiny skinned soul brother is headed straight for...
Suffering Saturn! There. I knew you clones or equal duplicates, or whatever you are, couldn't match up to the real thing.
Wooden!
Don't bet on it. You may be a big cheese where you come from, fella. But if you're gonna act like a rat with my pals, then you'll have to answer to the squeak super mouse.
Nice going, Squeak. The powers you get from your Supremium Stilton worked better than my high-tech hypodermis.
He had it coming. Be cool. This jive turkey be waking up.
Did I really just get flattened by a mouse?
Don't pay it no mind, chill. That's Squeak is one bad-tailed, mammoth-jamming rodent.
Sister Supreme is right. There's no time for regrets. We have to get you to the Supremacy. And fast. Supremacy? What's a Supremacy?
It's the promised land, sugar. Now will you hush up? How we doing, Original Supreme?
Just swell, sis. Young Superion is opening the Golden Gate right now. But I don't understand any of this.
That don't matter, shoot. What matters is hauling our ashes safe and sound through that freaking space warp.
Come on, you two. Last one home is a ripe Limburger.
Limburger nothing. Any fool whose feet ain't done their stuff before the flickering stops is gonna get his sorry butt revised.
I have to follow them. This may make little sense. But that's more sense than anything else in my world makes right now. Here goes nothing. Is the great white wonder flying into paradise? Or oblivion? Find out in part 2 of this great 3-part adventure. Supreme! Merciful moons! We've left Earth for a celestial golden city. And from the looks of things, it's entirely dedicated to me. You'll never guess the earth-shattering surprises awaiting the Platinum Paragon in Part 2, Land of 1,000 Supremes. This is what you call the Supremacy? It's incredible. Sure is something, ain't it? Boy, you should have seen it in 1940, when I first arrived here. Weren't nothing but empty white space.
Yeah, the original Supreme should know. He was the first one here.
Original Supreme?
Sure, that's why he's descending faster than us. He can't really fly. He just does these unbelievable leaps. Me, I turned up in the late 60s. I'm a sort of future variant, son of Supreme kind of thing.
Look, every yeek, buddy. We've got a reception committee.
Great starving singularities. There are hundreds of them. Every kind of Supreme one could ever imagine. And they all look pleased to see me.
Look! Squeak and the others have returned from their reconnaissance. That must be the new avatar they have with them.
Avatar? What do they mean?
It means incarnation. You'll understand when we reach the palace of the current Supreme Arc.
Hail, Supreme Superium! Is that the new avatar that soars beside thee?
Oh, hi, Macro Supreme. Yes, this is the latest model. Looks promising, doesn't he?
Aye. Let us hope that his tenure is longer than mine own. 1 short month, with not even a second appearance. Good luck, my little friend. May you prove durable. And beware of Darius Dax.
Right. Thanks. I'll try to remember that. What an astonishing creature. What did he mean by his last warning?
About Darius Dax? Oh, don't worry about it. You may not even have a Darius Dax in your continuity. Look, there's the Supreme Arc's palace up ahead. They'll all be waiting for us.
Here be the dudes now. But what happened to the original Supreme? He's getting kind of long in the yeek whiskers. He'll need a couple more leaps to yeek catch up.
I'm sure you'll be here soon, Super Mouse. Why don't you introduce me to your new discovery?
Sure. New Supreme, this is yeek His Majesty, Supreme the Fifth, of the 1960 Silver Dynasty. He's the yeek Supreme. Your Majesty, this is the new Supreme.
It's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. I guess all this must seem pretty strange to you, like a hoax or a dream. To be perfectly honest, it feels more like a schizophrenic breakdown. You 90s heroes and your fancy psychology. No, I promise this is real. Let's stroll through the Hall of Supremes and I'll explain everything. Sister Supreme, send Original Supreme through when he arrives, would you?
Right on, boss man.
This is crazy. How can there be hundreds of me? Talking mice versions? Black female versions? Squeak is the secondary Supreme from the 1950s. Sister Supreme arrived in the late 70s. There's room for everybody in the Supremacy, even Macro Supreme. Although we wouldn't want too many like him. But what is the Supremacy? Where in space-time are we? Nowhere. Or at least nowhere in space-time. This entire realm occupies the dimension formerly known as Limbo. Me and Original Supreme and the others just prettied it up a little, that's all. Somebody mentioned me. Sorry I'm late, Your Majesty. I don't know if my single bounds are getting shorter or the tall buildings are getting bigger. Ha 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 ha. Come on in, Original. Since you first discovered this dimension, maybe you should tell new Supreme here your story. Be glad to, if he's interested. See, I was just a farm boy, son of Jack and Joanne Crane from Little Haven, USA, born 1920. That was the first 1920. Incidentally, there's been lots. One day when I was 10, out walking my pet dog, I stumbled on this hidden cave out in the woods. Inside I found a belt buckle of strange white metal. it had magic powers. If I just rubbed it, I became supreme. I could leap over buildings, lift a car, or bounce live ammo off my chest. Posing as Ethan Crane, reporter, I fought evil in Omega City until 1941, which is when my whole world disappeared. I found myself alone in an infinity of blank white space. I was in limbo. This may sound crazy, but it was just like I'd been written out. Alongside everything connected to me, floating there in limbo, was the Daily Record building, where I'd worked, and chunks of Little Haven. I was alone till 1945, when the next Supreme to be revised turned up. Soon, others came, more powerful than me, with their supporting casts. Still, we couldn't accomplish much until His Majesty arrived in 68. Well, as the last son of the exploded planet Supron, I was supremely powerful. Also, when I was revised in 1968, the whole planet Supron came to limbo with me. Squeak was there already, plus Original Supreme, 50 Supreme, the 3 Sergeant Supreme, and several others. With my help, they now had power enough to really change things. And with the uninhabited world of Supron, we certainly had enough raw materials. We constructed the Supremacy as a Valhalla for Supremes, who'd been displaced in the unfathomable periodic changes in space-time we call revisions. We built a whole new dimension from the fragments of our separate mythologies. The planet Supron, the old Daily Record building, and various little havens. That was almost 30 years ago, and we've been building ever since. But this doesn't make any sense. I've been Supreme ever since the 1940s. Says you. Am I right in thinking you don't actually remember much about your career? Only because I've developed peculiar gaps in my memory. Banana oil! Your past hasn't been written in yet. You probably popped into being just a few weeks back. Time for metaphysics later. Let's step outside. It was dark, but it was daylight when we entered. Limbo is constant whiteness. We just employ technology to polarize the light when we want night. Like for this evening's celebrations. Celebrations? But of course, the whole Supremacy wishes to honor your inauguration as the latest avatar. See? Here's our carriage. And no less than Sirius the Stallion Supreme has volunteered to pull it. It is an honor, Masters. There's only room for 2 of us. Original Supreme, you'll have to reach the party in your usual leaps and bounds. I'm on my way already, Majesty. Up, up and over. What in an irrational world. And yet I've never felt so much at peace. So much at home. Will the Alabaster Avenger ever see his Earth again? Find out in the conclusion of this thrilling 3-part epic. A giant banquet! As a tribute from the greatest heroes of their worlds and times. How can I ever bear to leave this paradise? Supreme, see the planet's mightiest man, forced to decide between the rewards of heaven and the responsibilities of Earth, in Part 3, The World Made New. And this is all for me? Who else? We don't have long before you leave us. The flickering, the indeterminate state that precedes a revision, will soon subside. Then you'll return to your newly revised Earth, and your life will begin. If that's what you choose. Now come, let's meet your admirers. Hello, new Supreme. We're Supremes White and Gold, imaginary versions who are no less real than anyone else after our revision. We hope you'll make your Earth a utopia, like we did ours.
Likewise, I'm 50 Supreme. Incidentally, sorry about the lion's head. It's an effect of Violet Supremium that'll wear off after 24 hours. Watch out for Supremium. It was the bane of my career. After Darius Dax, naturally.
Wait a minute. Who is this Darius Dax I keep hearing about?
Oh, it probably needn't concern you. You'll probably get a different arch-villain. Like the End or one of the various Lokis.
Hey, look! There he is! Over there!
You're right. Hey, Supreme! Over here! It's us!
Kid Supreme? And Probe? I mean, Lady Supreme?
Of course. Who else would be dumb enough to yell, "Hey, Supreme," on a whole world full of us? We popped out of existence shortly after you left us, and rematerialized here. Isn't this place just perfect?
Boy, I'll say. Oh, by the way, did I introduce you to Sally Supreme? She's a secondary like me, only from the 40s. We're engaged.
Howdy.
Engaged? Aren't you returning to Earth with me?
And leave this place? Never. Besides, Scrappy Supreme of the Three Sergeants Supreme invited me to the Supreme Pet Gala after your party.
Yeah. Come on, Sally.
Bye.
I don't understand. Why is everyone so sure that I'm to be the next Supreme? Why not Probe or the Kid?
Because they're only secondary Supremes. Multiple variants that seem to arise just before the flickering starts, and a new revision begins. It's as if the universe is desperately trying different variations to get things right, before it gives up and starts again. Come on, let's mingle. You see, Probe and Kid Supreme told us about you when they arrived. When you didn't vanish and appear here too, we realized you were special, and sent Squeak and company into the flickering to find you. Supreme of the Future here can explain the physics better than me. You flatter me, Your Majesty. Even my evolved gamma brain reels at the paradoxes of revision theory. There are two schools of thought. One suggests that when the first Supreme was created, his very aura caused reality to ripple, periodically revising itself. The other theory maintains reality has always modified itself at intervals, and that we Supreme Ones are merely the first beings advanced enough to notice. Who can we say? Perhaps both are incorrect. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must prepare for the fly past.
Fly past?
It's our tribute at the start of your career. You are the first Supreme ever to find this place, before your true life commences. Most of us only come to supremacy when we are cancelled from existence. You are thus unique, and we salute you. See? They're all there. Fat Supreme, Mecha Supreme, and Grim 80 Supreme. Every what-if and kid sidekick, ever Supremium delusion. Meanwhile, in the crowd below, are their love interests. All of their Diana Danes and Judy Jordans, all of their friends, the Billy Fridays and the Lucas Tates. They've come to wish you luck. They've came to say you farewell until you meet again.
I don't know what to say. This is all so new and overwhelming. This place feels so right. Do I have to go to Earth when this revision starts?
That's up to you. No one would blame you if you chose to stay. Of course, that might mean that Earth was without a Supreme. The decision is yours.
I guess there's only one decision possible. My duty is on Earth. It's not enough being called supreme. I have to earn it.
Well said. Superion has opened a golden gate atop yonder staircase. Our scanners indicate the flickering is over. A new world is beginning. Go up, Supreme! Go up and face your destiny!
I'll do my best, Your Majesty. Thanks for everything.
Goodbye, and good luck, new Supreme. We love you.
If what they say is true, I barely existed before this incredible moment. My real past hasn't been filled in yet. And my future awaits in whatever new world exists beyond that dimensional doorway. May the gods of the galaxies grant me the courage to take this fearful step, wherever it may lead.
Ah, Crane! There you are! Standing around in a daze as usual, I see.
I'm sorry. I was a long way away.
You artists always are. Listen, if you're about to go home for the weekend, I want that Omni-Man annual finished by Monday.
Omni-Man?
What else? You do remember Omni-Man? The book you draw for Dazzle Comics. Hello?
Mr. Tate, I've got that Warrior Woman script you asked for.
Really? That's great. Let's go into my office and discuss it. Oh, and by the way, Miss Dane, you can call me Lucas. If I can call you Diana.
Sure. So, Supreme's, opens his wallet, and in his wallet says Ethan Crane, and where he lives, apartment 5A, 202 West Park Street, a megalopolis. So Supreme exits the Dazzle Comics building, and he gets a taxi. And there's a reference to Youngblood, who was published by Image Comics. I haven't read any of those ones, Youngblood. If you guys want me to read Youngblood, let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, so he goes to his apartment, and he opens the door and he finds his studio, his costume. And then there's a picture of his parents and him back in, I guess, in the 1920s or 40s or whatever. And it says, Next, Little Haven. So the next issue is going to explore his backstory, more his new backstory. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want me to read from Supreme #1, you can also let me know down in the comments. I can just alternate between 1 and 42 every now and then. But again, I have heard that the other issues are not very good. That's what I've heard. I haven't read them though. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know down in the comments below, and I'll tell you when I can do the request. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.